Now, we have been hearing about the new US tariffs that have come into force today, and one of the countries that is impacted is Vietnam. It's being hit with a 46% tariff on all goods imported or sent to the US. So this country saw a surge in manufacturing that moved from China after the first Trump presidency, when he imposed tariffs on China then. And many US companies have therefore been making their products in Vietnam. So how will this impact them? And will they look to move production to the US, for example? I talked to Andrew Gibbs Dabney, who is founder of Livesen, which is a US outdoor wear brand. Its company has their clothing made in Vietnam. I asked him how the tariffs would affect his business.
The last week has been a turbulent time, to say the least. We're a small company. We have less than 10 employees, under 5 million in revenue. And like you said, we make all of our products, all of our cut and sew products in Vietnam, and proudly so, with factory partners and people that have been with us since the very beginning, who took a risk on us and supported us early on. And now we've been partners with them ever since. We go to Vietnam regularly. And so we have product ready to ship right now that we're asking the factory to hold on to while we see what clears up. We are, cash strapped, as a small business is, and how many small businesses, including, lots of the outdoor industry, is driven by these kind of smaller brands. We don't really have the ability to weather a cycle like this if we do get hit with an additional 46% tariff. So we're looking at all options. Our advisors, our board, our company, everybody I can speak to, and every other founder, we're just looking at what we can do to respond to this rather than react. But the uncertainty is hard, to say the least.
I'm sure. I completely appreciate that. Now, your suppliers in Vietnam, I presume you've spoken to them several times since it was announced these reciprocal tariffs could come into force. So what are they saying, and how are they responding to all of this?
Well, look, we'd like to see this as a true partnership, and we're not making any demands of our suppliers at this point. I was just in Vietnam about a month ago, making sure that our relationship was strong and let them know that we were going to be with them as a long-term partner. And so we're taking a wait and see approach. A lot of this is in the air, as you've mentioned, right? The uncertainty is hard. But Vietnam, there's been very active efforts on the side of the Vietnamese government to make conciliatory and reciprocal, consolations to the U.S. to try to ease this burden on Vietnamese exporters and American importers, which is a lot of the outdoor industry, really. Like it's a significant amount of our apparel is built there, and there's some reason to believe that there'll be some relief, but we're just one small piece of a very global.
If a deal isn't brokered between the US and Vietnam on trade, and these tariffs remain in place, what will you then be forced to do? Will you have to pass on the cost to your customers, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there's going to be no way around it. There are margins built into apparel, but we're not a excess profitable company, right? We don't have extra margin to absorb. And our factory is really in a similar situation. Our main factory is a family-owned business with one factory. It's not a massive conglomerate, and there's not a lot of margin there. And so we'll work with them to mitigate the harm and the risk to that, but eventually we'll have to raise prices. And we're not going to do anything that would sacrifice the quality of our product to do so. So we're discussing to some degree, prices will have to come up if the tariffs stick.
That was Andrew with his story and the impact on his business.